Good evening. It is February 6th, 2018. It's 7:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I decided to do a live stream to go over some stuff with you from today. I'm just going to open this up on my channel. And there you are, guys. Hey, I'm going to share it on Twitter real quick. See what we can do. See if we can get get anything good going. I want to talk about Papadopoulos, Carter Page, and the craziness that has been going on today with all of that stuff and what some of my thoughts are. And I pulled up the testimony of Carter Page, and I also pulled up the George Papadopoulos complaint or the document, the charges and, whatever, his plea deal. So I wanted to go over that stuff with you today because there's a lot of stuff going on. Who is Carter Page? Did he work for the FBI? Did he not work for the FBI? Was he an agent of Russia? Was he an agent of the United States? Was he a mole in the Trump campaign? What was going on? Oh, God bless you. Mr. Beans just sneezed. So let's start with my Twitter. Today I started and I said, I speculate strongly that the FBI planted the man who is charged in the Mueller probe, Papadopoulos. And with each passing moment, I'm more convinced that's the case. And then I tweeted here where Carter Page acknowledges that he was outed by BuzzFeed as male one in that case. So back in 2013, Carter Page was working with the FBI to attempt to, kind of where he was an informant for the FBI to try and get these two Russian agents that were working, in the country illegally, doing illegal things. He worked for the FBI and he, they were arrested. Here they are. Southern District of New York. Buryakov pleads guilty in Manhattan federal court in connection with conspiracy to work for Russian intelligence. And Carter Page was one of the people in here who was posing, in quotes, as a businessman for the FBI to get intel so that they could catch these guys. So everybody now in the media is saying Carter Page was under surveillance from 2013 because he was working with Russia. Quite the contrary. Carter Page was working for the FBI. For the FBI. And I do not believe he was a plant. And I'm going to go through and show you why. And Jeff agrees with me. Draw and Strike on Twitter. So I say a couple different things on Twitter today. Carter Page had an interview on Laura Ingraham. And I retweeted that and I said, Carter Page, the subject of the FISA warrant and supposed international spy and enemy of the United States, is doing news interviews with no attorney and has no charges filed against him. Either we have the most inept intelligence agencies on the planet or Carter Page was used. Which is it? Which is it? And then I said, I honestly feel that Page was an easy target. After reading his testimony, I don't feel he was a plant. My gut is just speaking very, very, very loudly here. I think that he got set up. And let's go through why. Great thread from Draw and Strike. And let me know if this is big enough. I'll wait a second for you guys. People are saying it's blurry. YouTube and their messery. How's that? Is that good? Okay. So let's go through his thread really quickly. Oh, holy crap, the plot thickens. The FBI took a key witness who helped them take down a Russian spy and turned him into a Russian spy himself to get a FISA warrant. In other words, they lied about Carter Page. In March 2016, Carter Page was an FBI employee. That's a conservative treehouse article. In 2013, Carter Page was working as an undercover employee of the FBI, helping them to build a case against Buryakov. In March 2016, Carter Page remained their informant pre-trial, leading to a guilty plea. I'm going to put this in the description box so that you guys can read it because they go into it in detail and they link everything for you. He was undercover employee UCE1, posing as an analyst from a New York-based energy company. UCE1 provided binders containing purported industry analysis written by him and supporting documentation relating to his reports, as well as covertly placed recording devices. And this is all backed up in the mainstream media. All of it is, right? Lots of things. This article is fantastic. Go through it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Until May of 2016, Carter Page was the FBI's key witness against a Russian spy named Buryakov. He was working for the FBI, helping them build a case to prosecute. But then he gravitates to the Trump campaign as a foreign advisor and someone sees an opportunity. Carter Page is the FBI undercover employee. The FBI obtained the recordings from this case that Carter Page was an informant in after he attempted to recruit an FBI undercover employee who was posing as an analyst. For those of you who don't know, this is John P. Carlin, the former head of the DOJ's National Security Division, who were responsible for this whole thing. This whole thing. Here's a Reuters story based on court documents. Note carefully what it says. Page was undercover FBI, quote, posing as an analyst working for a New York-based oil and gas firm. For 2 years, Page, the undercover FBI employee, strings this guy along. So for 2 years, Carter Page is working for the FBI to nail real Russian spies in the United States. Think about that for a second. Carter Page is working for the FBI to catch real Russian agents in the United States. By April 2017, when it's trying to ramp up Trump-Russia hysteria into its highest gear, any mention of Page being an undercover FBI employee working to nail a Russian spying ring has been dropped from sight. Now it's sold as he was a businessman. And you can see the businessman, American businessman, all of the narrative changes in the media. All of it changes. When some high up level officials inside the FBI saw an opportunity to get a foot in the door for surveillance of the Trump campaign using an undercover employee who just helped them nail a Russian spy ring a few years back, they didn't hesitate. Carter Page's reward for helping the FBI bust a Russian spy ring was to have the FBI surreptitiously turn on him and brand him a Russian spy in order to, quote, legally spy on Trump's campaign and transition. Carter Page was not a plant. Remember when the FBI swears out this warrant in October 2016 to the FISA court, presenting evidence that Carter Page is a foreign agent for Russia? It's as an insurance policy. Page doesn't find out they did this until much later. The moment he hears the FBI has turned on him and used him for a FISA surveillance warrant, Page insists he's innocent and begins claiming stuff like this. And he basically starts talking about how they got the dossier, blah, 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 blah. At the time, Page began publicly making these claims about the DOJ, FBI, Hillary Clinton campaign conspiracy to take out Trump. And everybody in DC media pointed at him and laughed their asses off. We got months of, this lunatic is claiming the Department of Justice worked with the Hillary Clinton campaign to take out Donald Trump. Are they laughing now? Those of you who keep tweeting me, Carter Page was a plant, obviously have not been paying attention to what the guy's been saying for almost a year. Early on, he was telling anyone who would listen the truth. Page himself has been screaming from the rooftops for a year. I was set up. In December of 2017, even the New York Times gave him a forum for talking about how he was at the center of a plot by the DOJ, coordinating with Hillary to take out Trump. Page contends that the real story of the 2016 election was not collusion between Trump and Russia to defeat Hillary, but rather collusion between the DNC, which helped pay for the dossier, and the FBI to defeat Trump. There are two people who got hacked last year, he says, Podesta and me. There may be scant evidence for this theory, says the New York Times. All through September 2016 through December of 2017, when that New York Times article appeared, Page told the same story. I was set up as a patsy by the FBI so they could spy on Trump's campaign on behalf of the Clinton campaign. When he first started saying that, he was branded a lunatic, babbling anything to save himself. Since, hey, the FBI caught him. Sure, this Russian spy will say anything to make himself look good. By December 2017, when that article appeared, the babbling didn't look so lunatic after all, did it? The public was told about the Hillary campaign DNC funding of the dossier in October. Then around December 12th, Horowitz's investigation surfaced. It's now clearer than ever that Carter Page had it right. He was trying to alert people as early as September 2016 to what was really going on, but it's taken more than a year for the evidence to surface to back him up. Of course, a lot of what he had done from 2013 to 2016 as an undercover FBI employee is likely still classified. So one handicap Page has always had in trying to tell his story is the fact that he can't talk much about his undercover work. Then he also faced the handicap of the Democrats and the DNC media, constantly framing his story as some dilettante attention whore who loves Russia very much and was recruited to be a spy by Russia just a few years ago, which is completely false. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. And now it can be publicly revealed that this Carter Page guy actually is an undercover FBI employee who spent 2 years posing as something he wasn't to help the FBI take out a Russian spy ring. He was their key witness. So he basically worked for 2 years for the FBI, helping them to take down a Russian spy ring, and now the FBI is trying to claim that he's a Russian spy. All the news reports you've read since September of 2016 casting Page as some idiot, hapless businessman who Russians tried to recruit as a spy. But thank God the FBI caught the Russians first before Page could say yes and start spying for them. They're not true. Page was an undercover FBI employee for 2 years, was strung along. Page was an undercover FBI employee who for 2 years strung along a trio of Russian SVR agents until enough evidence had been amassed to prosecute. FBI DOJ officials then callously turned on him and claimed he was a Russian spy to the FISA court. If we are just figuring this out now, you can bet Trump, Sessions, Horowitz, Rosenstein, Mueller, and all the people involved knew it long ago. This being rolled out now because the IG investigation is done and the report is being written and much of the evidence has been released to Congress. This is just another radical plot twist in this story of unbelievable corruption inside of the FBI and the DOJ. Right after the release of the memo, we learned the FBI knew all along Carter Page was not any kind of a foreign agent for Russia. The entire FISA warrant was based on a huge lie, and the people who took it to the FISA court knew it was a huge lie. So if you're keeping score, the FBI proffered no credible verified evidence to the court that Carter Page was a foreign agent, and the FBI knew Carter Page was their own undercover employee who just helped them take out a Russian spy ring. So the FBI knew the guy they were offering to the FISA court as a foreign agent wasn't really a foreign agent, and they knew all the evidence they were showing to the court to prove this was bogus. So when I read, this is all factually accurate, everything in here is true. This is exactly what happened, 100%. When I read back in the day, I think it was like a couple months ago, he testified before the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. How does this look, guys? Does this look big enough for you? Yes? Okay, I'll just go with this. He testified, and they released the testimony the same day that they released Eric Prince's testimony. So they meet. In there is Conaway, King, Lobiondo, Rooney, Turner, Wenstrup, Crawford, Gowdy, Stefanik, Hurd, Schiff, Himes, Sewell, Carson, Spire, Quigley, Swalwell, Castro, and Heck. They start questioning him. I was very uncomfortable even reading this because it was so uncomfortable for me, and I'll explain why in a second. In May of 2017, Carter Page sent a certified letter to the U.S. House of Representatives Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. It is pages and pages and pages long. He's writing to Conaway and Schiff, and he's sending them information before he testifies so that he has his case pretty much laid out. If you do nothing else, read this. If you do nothing else, read this. It goes on and on. It's pages long. What the thick of it is basically he talks about in here how he debunks, he takes the investigation questions and he debunks all of the things that he's accused of. And he provides evidence. Although I played no role in any government active measures in the 2016 election, other than being a target of the Obama administration's efforts to support Mrs. Clinton's campaign, he says it, he spells it out in plain English throughout this whole thing. I have no personal information that the Russian government or anyone associated with it played any role in the 2016 US election. Furthermore, during my visits to Moscow in July and December, I was never approached by any Russian official or person associated with the Russian government who led me, thank you for the super chats, guys, thank you, in any way to believe that they had some intention to negatively impact the US government or the 2016 election, which the Obama administration was severely manipulating. He goes through everything in here. He goes through everything. It's so detailed. Look, he makes a chart. Okay? Look, examples. 2016, dodgy dossier, saturated private media since August 2016. Propaganda, fake news? Yes. Hacking and theft of political information? Yes. Timed leaks of damaging material? Yes. Assassination and political violence? Yes. Threats to my life following Clinton campaign fake news and commentary. Investment control in key economic sectors. Now he's sending this to the House Select Committee on Intelligence. Cash payoffs. He's waiting for the administration to give him information about what happened to him. Although I still do not have sufficient information at this stage while I await the aforementioned disclosure regarding the Obama administration's actions taken against me in this regard. Senator Grassley, Senator Graham, and other members of the Senate Judiciary Committee have taken initial positive steps. Yes, they have, to help address the genuinely problematic active measures by the U.S. government with foreign entities during the Obama administration, which unsuccessfully sought to influence last year's election. He talks about his experience in Russia, that he